I am a gummy bear. I am a gummy bear. I am a yummy, funny, dummy looking gummy bear. Oh wow.
Like the title suggests, today we're going to be talking about the Vow of the Disciple raid armor on the Titan. I have been playing around with this armor for a good amount of time now, and I think I've got it figured out. Now, depending on how this video does, I will be doing the same thing for the Warlock and the Hunter, so make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe. Okay, so first we're going to be talking about what I do and don't like about this raid armor, and then later on we're going to be talking about the Titan that you're seeing here in the background. I will be giving you all of his gear and how I came up with his design. If you want to go ahead and skip to that, there will be skip links down below. Okay, so I'm going to start this off by saying that I am pleasantly surprised about this armor. So in the video that I did about the raid leaks, I talked about how the Titan was my least favorite of the bunch. I didn't like the square design, but I thought that the helmet would look pretty cool. My opinion has completely changed on it, and now I think that the Titan is going to be the best of the three raid sets. I have been seeing a ton of good looking Titans in the tower recently, so I strongly suggest that you get yourself this armor set as soon as possible. Okay, let's go ahead and start talking about the individual armor pieces now, starting with the head. So the helmet was the first thing that I saw drop for one of my friends during the raid. I immediately gravitated towards whatever paper shredder mechanism this is. It looks really cool, and the whole entire helmet actually looks amazing. I don't like this like ribbon thing going on in the back. One, because it doesn't attach to anything. It looks like it's supposed to attach to the moving pieces on the helmet, but it just kind of floats there, so that's a little bit weird. But everything else about it is pretty freaking cool. My other gripe with this is the bottom piece right here that kind of looks like a retainer for teeth. We could really do without that. If they just kept like this chin piece right here without this mouth guard or whatever that's supposed to be, it would have been perfect. But I mean, either way, like I said, I'm just nitpicking here. The raid helmet itself is really freaking awesome. I love how we have some moving pieces here, and I love the little cloth accents on it as well. So moving on to the arms, I thought that these little plates right here on the wrist area were a little bit too chunky, but they're not too bad whenever you're looking at them from far away. As far as the shoulder pads go, they are a little bit squarish, but they still look pretty good with a lot of different armor pieces. I like this spine design going through the forearm, not the forearm, the bicep. Is that what that's called? I'm bad at anatomy. But yeah, that's really cool. And then the gloves, I have said in several videos now that I like whenever they give us something special with the gloves instead of it just being the default black gloves that look really boring. This has a little bit of cloth over that with some armor pieces on the thumb and above the knuckles here. The last piece that I want to talk about right here is going to be whatever this is. I don't know what it is supposed to be and why it's standing up like that. It doesn't look bad. It's just a little bit weird to just kind of have claws standing up so firmly like that. Like there's a metal plate back here or something. I can't really tell. But yeah, that kind of threw me off at first, but then they kind of grew on me. So moving on to the chest piece, as you already saw at the beginning of the video, this is my favorite of all of the pieces on this raid set for the Titan. I love how the rib cage just kind of moves out and inward. It looks really freaking awesome, especially whenever you start putting on some different shaders on it, which I will show you a little bit later. But yeah, the chest piece is amazing. I love this, like, I guess, hilt of a sword back here. I like this design back here. And I like the cloth kind of just like wrapping around all of the plated areas. It looks really cool. And I would rank this chest piece up there with like some of the top armor sets in the game right now. So as far as the legs go, I did talk about it in the last video, how I thought they would be kind of boring. But now that we have all of the textures and everything, it looks really good. Like the layered leather right here looks freaking awesome. Even the square design on the like thigh pads and the knee pads, all of that looks really cool as well. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be back here, but it doesn't look too bad. My favorite part about this, other than the leather right here, is going to be the feet, because it does have that like knight design with the layered armor pieces on top of the feet. That looks really cool, and I think once I get these to drop, I'm going to try to incorporate these in another build. And lastly, we have the Mark. So the Mark is going to be my least favorite of the bunch. That's not saying that it's bad. I just don't think that this is going to be as versatile as the rest of the armor pieces. So you can kind of see here, I have the chest on, and it still looks a little bit too bulky for my liking with the chest. It's really just bulky right here on the sides, but it does have a few things going for it that are pretty good, and that's going to be the overall shape of the Mark. I've talked about it before with like the Northlight Mark that I currently have on. I like whenever they kind of come down to a point down here and they just kind of round out and go back up. That's a really nice shape, and that's why I will still give this Mark a pass. Me saying that it's the worst piece of the whole entire set isn't really saying much, just because I think that the whole entire raid set is very good, and I think people are really going to love it and make a ton of cool things with it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about my Titan. So first of all, if you haven't noticed, it matches perfectly with this Monte Carlo ornament from a couple of dawnings ago called the Merry Maker. And now let's take a look at my armor pieces here. So for the shader, I have on Precursor Vex Chrome, and I can already hear you keyboard warriors saying, Muffin, that's not your unique shader. Everybody uses white and gold, or black and gold, or red and black. I don't care, man. If you want to be a special snowflake, why don't you go ahead and suggest a shader down below that you can use? Honestly, when I was choosing shaders for this set, I kind of just go down the line and I just choose like whatever I want. I really go through all of my shaders and I just pick whatever looks best to me. But if you want to be a special snowflake, you could try out Echoed Anger. This is the shader from the raid, and this is the shader that comes with the raid armor sets. So that's a really good one to try. If you want a more unique color, you can try out Gambit Celadon, which I believe is dropping from the Gambit playlist now. And this gives you a nice green coloring. And I thought it looked really good with the Northlight Mark, since the green and the gold complement each other pretty freaking well. Now, there is a more popular shader that isn't one of the common colors. Dreaming Spectrum applies that bone texture to everything, and with the like moving rib cage, that looks super creepy and super cool. The last one that I'll have you try out is going to be the Maroon Moon shader. I know that this is a red shader, but it provides like a very dark maroon, and it looks really good, and I really like it. It also kind of helps hide the like non-shadable void glow coming out of the eyes up here. But yeah, Precursor Vex Chrome is what I ended up with. I'm sure you'll end up liking a different shader with this. This actually works with a whole lot of shaders, so just take your pick. As far as why I chose the helmet, I needed something pointy to match the Titan's ramparts right here. So this is going to be the trace of the throne ornament for the Titan's ramparts. The reason I use these is because I think Bungie made these to go with the raid armor. My friend Newt ended up getting the raid helmet drop for him on the first encounter whenever we were doing day 1. And I noticed that these like little moving teeth that I talked about earlier match so well with the Titan's ramparts. And I was guessing that, you know, Bungie kind of just made both of them to go together perfectly. So yeah, I saw his build, which I will pop up on the screen right now, and I was a little bit jealous, so I decided to try to make something better, and that's how I ended up getting to my Titan. So yeah, I used the new Desolation driver helmet from the Eververse store. It's a really good set, and I really like it, and this is my first time using it. The next piece I ended up going with was, of course, the Raid chestplate. I've already talked about a million reasons why I like this. It's just really freaking awesome. From there, I wanted to kind of mimic the like complexity of the like ribcage design and the design going on back here. Now, I knew that the Northlight Mark had like these little lines coming out of it, and that kind of just ended up working out perfectly there. And from there, I went over to the legs. The legs I chose because originally I was going to use the Phoenix Cradle, but it ended up looking a little bit too weird and too bulky. Reason being was because the Phoenix Cradle and these legs, which are the Dendrite Shimmer Greaves, both have like a weaving design right here, which adds like complexity to everything, which of course matches the ribcage and the Northlight Mark right here. So yeah, that's how I ended up going with that. There are flaws in this armor which could be changed with some shaders. One is the Dendrite legs kind of glow right here, and it's glowing a blue color, which isn't really a problem. But yeah, we have this void purple glow coming out of the eyes, which doesn't really match. It's not complementary at all. So yeah, that is one big flaw in my armor set right here. But personally, for my set, I'm going to just look past it, just because the shape of the helmet just works so well with the rest of it. So yeah, that's the end of the video. To summarize, I absolutely love the raid set. It takes shaders very well. There isn't any spots that really bother me about it. There are some things I can nitpick about, but that's just it. It's nitpicking. It's a really good set, and I would strongly suggest that you do the raid, not only because it is a fantastic raid, and I truly believe it's the best raid we've ever had in Destiny, but the armor itself is awesome. I love the way it's animated and it just moves around. And that's going to be my quick review on the raid armor. If you guys want me to make one for the hunters and the warlock, go ahead and leave a like on this video and subscribe. That way you don't miss the video. And hey, if you guys need any fashion help at all, go ahead and click on the link down below to join my Discord server, where you can find a group of 10,000 people there that love fashion just like you. And hey, if you want some personal fashion advice from me, I do have a Patreon, and one of the perks is getting fashion advice from me at least once a day, but usually it's more than that. So yeah, go ahead and click on that link down below to check that out. Another perk is you get your name at the end of every long form video, like you're about to see now. Guardians, thank you so much for coming out and watching the video. I will see you in the next one. And until then, click on any of the videos popping up in your end card now. And as always, stay beautiful.